Chapter 36. Foes and Friends. Not if you had proof that he killed Cleveland Fabrosi. You could use it against him if he tried to go against you. She pauses at that, sending him a speculative glance. You have proof of that? More than just your word, right? Ori wets his lips as he thinks through things. Max and Six had been rather extensive when cleaning up the crime scene, removing any data that could lead back to them. Shit, why were they so good at their jobs? I'm waiting. She presses, allowing her finger to snake around the trigger of the pistol. "To the car," he exclaims, the rear camera of Cleveland Fabrosi's car. "My friend took the recording. He must still have it." She tilts her head at him. "Well then, you better confirm that." Ori nods, retrieving his holophone and calling up Max, the man answering with a gruff, "What do you want?" "It's Ori, look. Remember the other day with the corpo? Well, I need the camera data, the one that showed Quentin doing the deed." "That's with Six. I personally don't keep incriminating shit like that around, but he likes Emma's mementos." "Why?" "Just needed it for some blackmail. It's scrubbed of us, right? Only Quentin is shown on it." Max eyes him suspiciously through the holocall. "Yeah, look, everything all right there? You seem a bit out of it, kid." Ori firms his expression and nods. "I'm good. Just need the data. Think you could get it for me? I'll pay you if that's a thing." Max shrugs his shoulders. "Don't worry about it. I'll give you a call. Get Six to send it over. Could you do it soonish? I'm kinda in a rush." "Fine. Also, there's a job tomorrow. Regular protection shtick." "You in?" "Yeah, thanks." "Don't mention it." Beep beep. Call ended. He looks up at the woman. "See? Things refine. You got what you want, and we get to see tomorrow. That sounds like a good deal to me. We'll see if your friend delivers the data. If it takes longer than an hour, then you're done." She looks to Quentin. "You should be thanking your friend here. I doubt you've got anyone else who'd race here and put their ass on the line for you." Quentin scowls through his injuries. "I did, before my D had fucking zeroed them." She crooks a brow at that. "HM? You're not lying about that, huh?" Obviously. Why else would he risk his cushy corpo lifestyle by killing his dad?
Ori retorts.
"You know, you're not bad," she remarks, gesturing Ori's own gun at him. "Gee, thanks," he sarcastically offers. "Not bad enough to escape bullet, though. Let's hope your friend comes through." "What's your name?" "HM? You didn't fall in love with me, did you? Are you a masochist? You don't want me to beat you up again, do you?" she asks with a mischievous grin. "I don't know. Are you that flexible outside of fighting?" he asks, allowing his eyes to travel up her body. She giggles. "Sorry, I don't date kids. Or rookie mercs, they don't tend to last long." Ori grins toothily at her. "That's only 2 strikes out of 3. Do MMY. You only had 1, she drawls, her eyes quirking as Ori's holophone chirps. "Video received. You owe me."
6.
She snatches the holophone away with her cable and ports into it, downloading the video. Her eyes flash, and she sends a crooked brow at Ori, causing his lips to thin. Did he not send the right one?
No.
He did. Just. She shakes her head and turns to Quentin. "You're free to go. I'll contact you when I need something. And trust me, I will need something." She growls, using her claws to sever his restraints. "You, come with me. We need to talk," she states to Ori, walking towards the exit.
T-Tanks Ori.
"Really? You saved me there?" Quentin utters graciously. "I wouldn't mind some eddies for my time. I was doing something important before I got called down here," he says with a wave over his shoulder, following the woman who slings his discarded shotgun as she walks out. She continues walking until they reach his car, the girl tossing his weapons into the back seat before leaning against the door. "So, he doesn't know, does he?" "Doesn't know what?" She smirks almost kittishly. "That you're the one who hunted his friends. I found all the photos on your phone. You really need better security." He rubs his face. "It ain't something I'm proud of, but I need the eddies badly. Besides, I'm trying to make up for it by helping him out. A merc with a conscience? Those two things don't mesh well together," she adds. "You say that like you have experience." "Maybe, maybe not. I can tell you haven't been in the game long. Walking into an obvious ambush for someone you barely know. You're lucky I'm nice, is all I'm saying," she says, looking ready to leave. "Hey," he abruptly asks, "you're a netrunner, right? A good one, from what I can tell." She nods. "Yes? I was actually looking around for one. I've got a job if you're free," he awkwardly asks. She hums to herself in thought. "I've got time. I'll hear you out, see if I want it after. Basically, I'm trying to find some scavs who are selling some eyes in some auction in Japantown dash. The one by Yorisiki," she finishes for him. "Yeah. How'd you know?" She shrugs. "It's not all that well hidden. Most people in the game know about it. Occasionally you can find some cool things there. Why you want the scavs anyway? They take something of yours?" "It's personal." She smiles at him. "You're the one trying to convince me. Your reasons might help you there," she states. idly twirling the cord in her wrist in a circle. They butchered my dad, cut out his eyes, and are now selling them on the auction. There, happy? He grouses reluctantly, looking down and not noticing the woman next to him losing her grin. That's so? You just want to find out where they are? Nothing else? He nods. Yeah, I'll handle everything from there. All right, I'll get it done tonight, she casually says, surprising Ori. You'll what? Just like that? He asks, baffled. What can I say? You've convinced me. She pats him on the cheek. I'm a softie with things concerning family. Lucky you. And the pay, how much do you want for it? I was at the building earlier. It won't be easy, I can say much at least. Don't worry about it. You saved me a lot of trouble with Quentin, so this one's on the house, she says, pushing herself off of his car and twirling on her heel to face him. I'm Sasha, by the way. Nice to meet you, Ori. He awkwardly scratches the back of his head. Yeah, you too. Sasha, and sorry for shooting at you earlier. He adds. Haha, you're really funny, she says as she throws her legs over the motorbike hidden in the corner and puts on a colorfully decorated helmet with cat ears. What's funny about that? Nothing. It's just that you're the first friend I've made that actually apologized for it. She gives him a mock salute before zooming off, leaving a cloud of dust in her wake. Friend, huh?
W chapter 37, Kat's gracie.
Sasha hums as she steps up the service exit to the rooftop, eyes darting around as she comes out and surveys the area. No security cameras here, but once she looked over the ledge to the next building, she spotted cameras at nearly every viewpoint. Maybe she had been a bit too lackadaisical in accepting Ori's job, without pay at least. She'd been planning on jumping onto the next building and sneaking inside to breach Yuri's office, but she'd misjudged the difficulty of it all. First, the distance between the two made it impossible for her to simply jump across as is, plus the cameras would be tough to avoid. Even when hacked, she'd have a limited time to get past them, or she ran the risk of alerting whoever was in charge of the building's security. Whatever, she wouldn't go back on her word once given. She spits her bubblegum onto the floor and walks a good distance from the edge, dropping into a sprint start. Without a moment of hesitation, she launches herself forwards, her cybernetic enhancements allowing her to run at ridiculous speeds. Her eyes flash with light as she hacks and temporarily disables the nearest camera before finally throwing herself off of the roof. Her metal cable/interface port shoots out and latches onto an advertisement hanging overhead, allowing her to swing over the drop and land gracefully on the rooftop with a roll. Now in enemy territory, she had to move quickly, pushing her way into the stairwell and quietly making her way down the building, quick hacking every security measure she came across in the process. She steps into a hallway and spots 2 Tiger Claw goons. She doesn't try sneaking, however, simply walking past them after hacking their cyberware to make herself invisible to them. On the building's cameras, it would look like she belonged there, especially with the guards being so accommodating. Some more scouting around, and she finds her Yuri's office. It had been locked down with its lights turned off already. The woman herself had obviously gone home already. Good thing for Sasha, they put too much trust in their static security systems, allowing her to slip past and insert her port into the computer. Emph, piece of cake. She smiles to herself, stealing not only the data about the scav Ori had spoken about, but every other client too. Even if she was doing this for free, there was no reason not to gain something for herself. This information would be worth quite a lot to other corporations like Militech, IEC, or Kongtao. While she's at it, she stores large unprocessed data packets belonging to Yuri's personal devices. This potentially included texts, calls, and many more possibly incriminating things. How fun. File sent. With her pledge Ori complete, all she needed to do now was get out. Contrary to popular belief, escaping a restricted area was usually the easy part. Like walking around private places in a suit, present yourself with enough authority and you could leave anywhere unmolested. She'd done such a thing on many occasions, in fact. Still, with the Tiger Claws, it was better to play it safe. Back to the roof she goes. Ori huffs as he does one last Wade press up under Bat's supervision, numerous wires and cables connected to him to analyze his body's health and performance. Both were wary of the nanites possibly touching something they shouldn't. One wrong adjustment to a gene sequence and he might just turn into a giant cancer cell or something, which might be removable, or might not. Ori finishes and wipes the sweat from his brow, not out of breath due to his prior upgrades, but just experiencing muscle aches. How's it look? All green. Did the nanites say when they were planning on the next upgrade? He questions. Ori shrugs. Apparently my fat energy stores are only at 50%. They'll to the lungs next, which I'm not exactly looking forward to. Bats idly nods. Thanks for leaving me on the side of the road, by the way. It worked out in the end, didn't it? A free netrunner to boot. Bats shakes his head disappointedly. You really think they'll do as they said? Yeah, I think I do. Honestly, Ori had been worried about the same thing Bats had. He was no stranger to betrayal after all. Call it naive though, but he honestly thought Sasha would help him out here. This is Night City. They're probably reporting your ass to the Tiger Claws, right? Dash.
Beep beep.
File received. Now. Huh. Bats mutters, hearing the same thing as Ori, who sends him a smug grin in response. That's my part, Finn. See you around, Ori. IXXX. Sasha. Ori smiles like an idiot at the text and goes to open it, only for Bats to stop him at the last second. Wait. Check it for viruses first. Shrugging, he runs it through Bats' antivirus software, coming out green much to the Ripperdoc's chagrin. Bats. This is it. Everything. Locations, names, faces, routes.
Ori excitedly exclaims.
Damn. That runner really did it all in one night? Bats mutters, swiping through the intel and quickly pointing out Marv's current base of operations. A warehouse in Longshore, North Side. How are we gonna do this? That is the question. I figured I'd just sneak around and shoot Marv in the face, but that probably isn't the best idea. Ori sheepishly admits, I've got a job with Max and Six tomorrow. I'll ask him about it. Think they'll help?
Ori shrugs noncommittally. No idea.
Max maybe. Six? Doubt it. I'd consider paying some mercs to help, but we need to save our eddies. He'd spoken with Judy a couple hours ago, and apparently Afterlife's rates were a bit out of their price range right now. Apparently the minimum fee was 15,000 eddies, but add the difficulty to it, and she was sure it'd come out much higher than that. Everything they had right now combined plus his week of merc work came out to around 33,000 eddies, which wouldn't be nearly enough. Chapter 38. Occupational Hazards. The next day Ori, Max, and Six had just finished their protection gig. A schizo client thought some corp was tracking and following him, so he paid them to escort him around his usual haunts for the day. Nothing turned up obviously, and Ori was pretty sure the dude was off his rocker. He definitely didn't earn enough to keep paying mercenaries to watch his back. His client's mental health aside, Ori walked over to his car that had been parked next to Max's. Six was already in the Merc's passenger seat, not seeing a reason to bring his own ride. Max and Ori stop in front of the vehicles before leaving, however, both with something to say. So, you in big shit or what? Max abruptly questions, lighting his and Ori's cigs. Yesterday, you were either at gunpoint or had your balls in clamp. He taps his temples. Trust me, can I sniff this stuff out a mile off? Yeah, gunpoint. Why didn't you say something then? You think I want to say something that gets you a bullet? Nah, you weren't begging or crying. So I guess you had it handled. Since you're here, I'm assuming I had it right? Ori nods. Worked out a deal with that recording. Don't worry about Quentin either. He was there too. Sounds like a strange one. He lets out a puff of smoke and gestures the cig at Ori. Say, did you get laid? You've had that stupid grin on your face all day, almost scared off the client. Ori touches his mouth, squinting in surprise at the upturned lines. I did. He shakes his head. No, I didn't get laid. Anyway, I actually had something to ask, he states, changing the subject. Let me guess, you need pick lines for that girlie you're hot over?
Max snarkily replies. No.
Even if I did, you'd be the last person I'd ask. What? I'm probably the most handsome son of a bitch you'll ever meet. He flexes his tattooed bicep. This shit's all natural, you know. Having no cyberware doesn't make it natural. Natural means no enhancement drugs either. You look like the picture they show kids to stop and trying steroids. Ori states, allowing them a good-natured chuckle, Max not confirming nor denying it. Anyway, I actually need some help with a personal job killing some scav assholes. I know where they are, what time they'll probably be there, and how many in the group. But I'm not really all that tactically inclined, as you know.
Ori admits.
You want me and Six to help you out? 'Cause it'll cost you, friendly discount or not.
Max confirms.
What's the drop? Max shrugs and holds his hand out, obviously asking for the data. He quickly sifts through it before handing it back while flicking away his cig. Approximate 20 scavs, fortified position. All right, security. 8,000 for 6, 5 for me sound doable? That include the whole package? He nods, yeah. Best part is you get to keep whatever we find there since you're the one paying. Scav workshops have usually got some goodies stashed away. You might actually get your eddies back after we're done. Ori smiles but allows his expression to dull as he scrolls down the page. There's only one condition I have. He points to Marv's face. I want to gut this guy personally. Max nods and shakes his hand. Sounds like a deal. We'll get on it tomorrow. I'll do some scouting tonight. See if there's anything you've missed in that. I'll see you later, kid, he says, patting him on the shoulder before departing with Six. There a reason you're so easy on the kid? Six asks as they drive down the street and out of sight. What? Gonna tell me I'm too soft again? Max grouses in response. Later. I want to know why him. Because you see him like Char Dash. Six starts, but is interrupted as Max slams his hand onto the steering wheel. It ain't about her. He shakes his head. Do I need a reason to be nice once in a while? You?
No.
But like this? He nods.
Fine.
Max relents. Kid reminds me of my brother. Young, stupid, hopeful. My brother got dusted by a Militech hover tank. He states, his voice becoming slightly hoarse with emotion. He shakes his head and clears his thread. Makes me want to see where the kid goes, see how my brother might have turned out if he got the chance. Six sits back in his chair and folds his arms. You're being a fool, letting your emotions control you. Max sniffs at him. Yeah? Well, not everyone can go full heartless Borg asshole like some people. He pointedly remarks, some of us have still got things to hold on to. The rest of the ride is silent for the two, Max dropping Six off as his scheduled Ripperdock appointment before driving off towards Longshore to get some scouting done. Max parks a good distance away from the warehouse and slowly makes his way up a sandy hill overlooking the complex. He pulls out his binoculars and begins tagging the place with notes, recording everything so they could map out a plan tomorrow. Place looks like a goddamn anthill. He mutters to himself, worried about the amount of activity going on down there. He tags a wall with clear structural weakness when he spots a van full of goons leaving the place. That wouldn't have worried him if they'd kept going their way, but instead, they'd driven off-road right towards his location, leaving a trail of kicked-up sand as they raced towards him. Shit, he curses, stuffing his binoculars in his pack as he begins hurriedly retreating. He'd left his LMG in the car to lighten his load and reduce the risk of exposure, but he'd have definitely liked having it on him right now. How the fuck did they see me? He mutters to himself, knowing well he hadn't given anything away. He keeps running out into the desert and jumps into a small rocky ridge before the scavs drive over the crest of the hill. They shouldn't have seen him, right? He holds his breath and keeps low as the sound of their engine approaches, the sound of tires transitioning from sand to rock causing his heart to beat faster. Hee, told you we'd have company. It's about time. You've had us keeping watch like that for almost 2 days straight. Their footsteps kept getting closer and closer, until they were basically standing directly on top of his position. Could have sworn I saw something. Guess not. The leader remarks out loud, and Max stifles a sigh of relief. Not, the man abruptly shouts, dropping a flashbang into the ridge with Max who isn't able to shield his eyes and ears fast enough. Bong. Chapter 39. Friends? The next day rolls around and Ori slowly realized something was up. Max hadn't gotten back to him about the job and wouldn't even pick up his phone when he called. Not to mention, receiving call. 6. Receiving call. 6. Beep beep. 6. Is something wrong? Where's Max? He should have called by now, he asks as soon as he answers. They got him. The scavs. He neutrally rasps through the call. They what? How? He was only supposed to be checking the place out. He's a pro, isn't he? Ori reactively shoots back, shocked by the news. To him, Max had always been a concrete figure, stern and unmovable in his work. For Max to get captured on a job he'd sent him on made him feel like a worthless piece of trash. It must have been his fault, right? Why else would it have happened? Six ignores his panicked exertions as he glares at him through the holocall. I'm collecting the favor you owe. We're saving his dumb ass, and we'll finish your job in the process. Favor? You mean for the vid? Ori shakes his head. I don't need anything to go save a friend, especially when I'm the reason he needs rescuing. Six scowls. We don't need your charity. Grab all of your things and anyone with 4 limbs willing to fight. Meet me in Pinewood. He orders before ending the call, leaving Ori in silence. Beep beep. He lets out a held breath and stands, gathering everything he could into a rucksack before making his way down to his beat-up car. He wouldn't bring bats even if he was present. The Ripperdock was currently working in that sketchy repair shop, and he didn't want to risk Bat's life on his own mistakes anyway. Still, he and Six were going to be vastly outnumbered. He didn't really know anyone willing to help either. Sasha didn't strike him as the fighting type. Most of his acquaintances are dead or missing, and even then they'd probably refuse him outright. He could try to ask the Mox again, but that was a long shot. Northside wasn't their turf, nor was this something that really concerned them or the gang's tenets. Hiring foreign mercs didn't work either since the scavs could probably pay far more than he could, not to mention the potential backstab shittery that could happen. Who knew how extensive Marv's contacts went, especially since he was allied with that underground auction. Still, there was one person left. His reluctance could be forgotten in this instance. Calling Rebecca? Beep beep. The pale-skinned, pink-tattooed girl appears on the hollow call in only her thin black bra and panties. She was laying down in a large beanbag chair, or maybe it was regular size since she was so small in the first place. She grins toothily at him, eyes gleaming with mirth as his face flashes with heat at her outfit, or lack thereof. Why, it's Ori the wimpy Merc. How's biz? Or is this a social call? You really miss me that much after one meet who? She smugly asks, looking pretty satisfied with herself for some reason. He shakes his head and clears his throat, the severity of the situation allowing him to move past her. Rebecca Ness. I'm up shit creek and paddling my hands right now. I need some extra hands to help rescue a friend. Couldn't think of anyone else better for the job, he says, trying to butter her up. HNNNMM. She hums with an odd look on her face before pointing to herself. You want me to help rescue a hostage? Either you're really desperate or you've got a shitty memory. I wouldn't argue against either. He sighs. Look, I really need the help. I'll pay you obviously, and I'll owe you in the future. She leans back in her chair and folds her arms, eyes still focused entirely on Ori's face. Humph. Who told you I was weak against wimpy puppy dog eyes? It was Judy, wasn't it? That greasy lab rat. Can you help me or not? I'm kinda in a rush here.
Fine.
But I get first dibs on any cool guns left lying around. And I want 8,000 eddies, she says, still accidentally holding up 5 fingers, which Ori doesn't draw attention to. Fuck. This was really gonna set him back on finding Kat. He was tempted to just say fuck it to the whole thing and concentrate on his sister, but Max had gotten captured because of him. He couldn't just leave him there. He remembered the vet saying something about Scav workshops being worth a good amount, so hopefully he wouldn't lose too much. There was also Marv. Who knew what that cocksucker was doing to Max? Ori unconsciously grinds his teeth as he refocuses on the waiting Rebecca. 5,000 plus the favor dash. Deal! She exclaims ecstatically, leaning forwards as if she'd been aiming for that the entire time. Was that her attempt at negotiating a price? Considering most regular gigs paid 1K to 3K, he was paying her a little extra for the short notice. Whatever. Meet me in Pinewood, bring your best guns. We're gonna be outnumbered here.
No kidding.
Those are the best jobs. See you there.
Beep beep.
Sigh. I got a bad feeling about this, he mutters, lighting up a cig before quickly driving away, headed to the meeting spot 6 had designated. Hey, over here! The plucky lowly shouts from the corner of the street, her hand waving erratically as Ori pulls up. Honestly, it looked like she was barely able to walk with the heavy pack on her back and the numerous colorfully painted guns slung around her neck. It looked like a dad carrying in the entire month's shopping all in one go. He stops in front of her, idly wondering if he looked like he was picking up a joy toy while rolling down the window, his brows almost reaching his hairline. I said, bring your best guns, not all your guns. Pfft, you think this is it? These are only my favorites. Besides, you never said how many dudes we'd be fighting. Ori palms his face. Whatever. Get in the back, he says, remotely unlocking the back doors. Chapter 40, His 6. So what's the biz? Rebecca asks, leaning over his shoulder as he's driving. Scavs, they nabbed the guy I hired to check out the area. He's a friend, so they aren't getting away with this lightly, if I can help it at least. Oh, so you're gonna bust in guns blazing and rescue your guy like a hero? You gonna carry him out like a princess too? Weird. This ain't something I can deal with alone. There had been only 20 off him, but they'd probably upped their security and hired some more thugs after capturing Max, probably expecting us to come for him. I hate to break it to you, Ori, but your buddy's probably dead. You sure you want to risk your butt recovering a corpse? Ori chews his lip. It ain't just me. Six'll probably go with or without me. I owe it to both of them to be there. I should really be a skin you if you're up for it. This ain't as personal for you as it is us. She pats him on the shoulder, reassuringly. Someone's gotta make sure the rookie don't get got. Don't worry, Big Sis Beck'll be babysitting you today. Great. He mumbles into the steering wheel. Hey, do you even know where we're supposed to go? I swear we've been driving in circles. Gimme a sec. Six said it should be around here. He says, eyes looking to the side as he receives a text. There. Ori gestures with a nod of his head at a slowly opening garage door connected to some other units, all looking rather rusty but still somehow operational. I don't want to say anything, but you sure this is it? Your friend isn't gonna offer us candy or something, right? She asks as they both look into the pitch-black interior of the garage. Ori shrugs. You tell me? You're the one who looks like a kidoi. He grunts as he feels her foot kick him in the back through the chair. Keep calling me a kid. Aren't you the one who asked me here? That only makes you look bad, you know. Ask your pal if this is the right place. I don't want to walk into some sleazo's bang bus. All right. Fine. He groans, shooting out a text. Garage Unit 24-2. That the right place?
Oi.
I can see you playing around outside. This is not a game. Hurry up.
6.
See? This is it. Come on, he says, getting out and walking over as Rebecca hurries to catch up. The door closes behind him, sealing them in darkness before a click announces the lights turning on. Wait, you look like the guy from that ancient flick. Rebecca snaps her fingers in thought. Our robot. RoboCop. Six sends a glare at Ori. This it? Hey, what's that supposed to mean? The girl shouts in response as Ori shrugs his shoulders. I'm told she's pretty good. Why'd you bring us here anyway? Six flips another innocuous-looking switch, causing a panel on the back wall to slide up and reveal a hidden door. Through it, was a kick-ass armory, filled to the brim with weapons, explosives, and even spare cyberware. If we want Max in one piece, we need every advantage. He grabs a belt full of grenades and tosses it at Ori. Rebecca herself looked like a kid in a candy store, but unfortunately for her, Six wasn't willing to share. He gives her a single fragmentation grenade and irritably pushes her away from the wall of guns. Got the intel? The stuff you gave Max? The board questions. Ori nods and sends it all to the Merc, who ports into a laptop and has a machine projector everything onto the table for them all to see. We need a plan. Max's way failed, so we'll do it my way. What way's that?
Ori inquires.
Freestyle. Ain't that just you saying you haven't got a clue? Rebecca wonders aloud. Six scowls and turns back to the table, swiping some things into view. We'll approach in a few hours when it gets darker. He points at a spot. I'll sneak past the water tower and enter the warehouse to search for Max. You two wait here on standby. He points at a street sitting nearby the objective. Be ready for a fight, or to cause a distraction. Max is probably in a secured position. Extracting him will be difficult. And that's where we come in. Rebecca chirps, displaying her teeth with a grin. We don't have good data on the warehouse itself, and we aren't going to try find it either. I'll plant detonation charges as I make my way through the place. Do not shoot them until Max is secured. Understand? This is all assuming you can sneak inside in the first place. I get you've got that camo cyberware, but what if they have shit to bypass that? Heat detection, or goons with modded eyes?
Ori asks.
Then, depending on the situation, you will flee dash. Wait, what? This is not a game. This is deep in Maelstrom turf. If these people can operate here, then they have ties. If we take too long, we will get surrounded and shot in the back. If I am detected too early, this mission is already lost. Woof, you guys know how to raise the stakes, huh? Rebecca remarks, trying to liven the mood. Six ignores her attempt at levity. I hired a vehicle for you to use. AI-driven, armored, and equipped with a turret. Should provide cover or a distraction if called on. So, basically a tank?
Ori ventures.
A small one, if you want to put it that way. Six confirms before hoisting up a bag and holding it towards Rebecca. This has most of my stored stims and boosters. Don't use more than 3 in one go, or your heart will stop. Obviously. Rebecca snorts. Who do you think I am? An amateur? Yes. Six instantly replies. He turns back around and grabs 4 heavy-looking boxes and slides them to Ori's side of the table, then places an LMG on top of them. Max is spare. We'll be lucky if he in a good enough state to use it. For now, I'm giving it to you. Are you sure? I mean, Ori weakly gets out. There are around 600 to 800 rounds there. We'll be using all of them. Do not be reserved. Our lives might depend on it. The Merc states before looking up as his eyes flash. Our ride is here. Help me load everything aboard.